here. All right, so we'll start out with Kathy Hochul. Y'all check out this video and give me your thoughts. And once again, just keep that toxic masculinity in the back of your head, because that's what we're going to focus on. Hold on one second. There we go. Governor Hochul. Which one do we want to do? Let's do this one.
Questions. Stances the past 3 months in response to questions by Axios. Another Democrat, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, getting slammed for her comments against Americans who vote Republican in her state.
If you're voting for these Republicans in New York, you are voting for someone who supports Donald Trump, and you're anti-woman, you're anti-abortion, and basically you're anti-American because you have just trashed American values and what our country is all about.
New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik wrote, the Democrat Party led by Kamala Harris is an absolute disgrace as they smear American patriots who want to save our country by supporting President Trump and Republicans. Shamefully, the closing argument from Kamala Harris's campaign is to attack voters, one of many reasons why it will be a losing campaign.
I've now worked for 15 minutes more than...
All right, so let me get rid of this for a second. So Kathy Hochul, calling people anti-American if you support a candidate. Think about this. And I was just looking at, I wanted to look real quickly. I wanted to see how, like, what was the percentage, there was the breakdown of Kamala Harris beating Trump in New York. And she actually won it with less votes than Biden, or a smaller margin. Let me see if I can find it. Trump, meanwhile, has gained support. I don't know. Maybe somebody can look that up in the background. Maybe somebody can look that up in the background. So it says Harris's 12-point victory was the smallest by a Democrat in New York since 1992. So my point that I'm making is, why do we have these governors and all these politicians? They live in a state, or they live in this country where clearly over half the people supported Donald Trump. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral college. So you can't even cry about, you know, in a normal situation where this is the first time, I believe, in like almost 30 years that a Republican won the popular vote as well as the electoral college. But they're going to make these statements pretty much calling all of these people anti-American, pointing the finger at these people. Oh, it must not be anything that me and my party and the people that agree with me, it must not be the way that we're seeing the world. It's got to be those other people. Y'all just aren't smart enough to understand. Y'all aren't intelligent enough to see the world the way that you should see it. So I'm going to call you anti-American. I'm going to call 40% of the people in my state anti-American because they didn't support Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. They supported Donald Trump. Think about that. Why are we seeing the world like that? Why are we putting that type of energy out there? And in my opinion, it goes back to the toxic masculinity that the name of this show is based on. Toxic. I'm sorry. And this is what I mean by toxic masculinity. You're probably wondering, like, well, Governor Hochul, she's a woman. Women are more emotional. Women are more emotional. And I know a lot of women will push back in saying that, or in me saying that. And it seems that you only push back when it's in your argument's sake to push back. And what do I mean by that? Y'all, how you identified toxic masculinity was men being too strong, too stubborn, too set in their ways, not vulnerable enough, not soft, not embracing their feminine energy, right? To become more emotional. So therefore, by that stance, you agree. You agree that women are more emotional. So therefore, we are seeing a bunch of super emotional responses to Donald Trump winning. Super emotional, feminized responses. We're seeing it from women and we're seeing it from men. Emotional, angry, upset, enraged, depressed, sad, all of these things that, in my opinion, people should not be when it comes to politics. And they're convincing these politicians that have this influence, they're convincing the people that they serve to do the very same thing. Emotional. And maybe that is why When all the people want to blame black men and Barack want to say, hey, maybe y'all just don't want to vote for a woman. Well, maybe we're starting to see that it's not just about not wanting to vote for a woman. It's about not wanting to vote for a feminized, weak, emotional culture. And when I say the weak part, I'm talking about the men. Because what happens with toxic masculinity, my definition of toxic masculinity, which is feminized men, what happens is we get very strong women and super weak, passive aggressive, emotional men. So Governor Hochul, she's going to come out here and throw a temper tantrum and just well, I shouldn't even say what she did was a temper tantrum, because you're going to see what the fellas have done over the last couple of days, whether it's Cenk, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel crying on TV, whether it's Colbert, whether it's Seth Meyers, all of these people going on TV making a fool of themselves because they are emotionally upset and throwing a temper tantrum that, well, my candidate didn't win. My favorite football team didn't win. It's embarrassing. And now we're seeing what an overly emotional, feminized culture breeds. It breeds soft men and overly strong women, in my opinion. Just calling it as I see it. So let's move on to the next video. Let's look at what Bernie Sanders had to say. Let's look at what Bernie Sanders had to say on this. Let me get this screen shared for y'all. 1 second. All right, bring Bernie in.
Sanders brought this up. I mean, it was kind of going after the Democratic Party with a flamethrower, Julian. Listen to what he said. Oh, it's a full screen. So listen to what he said. He said, quoting, "It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. First, it was the white working class, and now it is Latino and black voters as well." I mean, this is kind of tough on your own party, Julian.
Well, if you divide the Democrats up, you'll find the redistributionist Democrats, Trace, and the growth Democrats. And redistributionist Democrats like Bernie Sanders dominate the party. They believe the way you get the working class is by buying them through greater government welfare. Yeah. So you look at student loan forgiveness, you look at
buying them through government welfare. That sounds familiar. That sounds real Lyndon Baines Johnson-ish. Sounds like the things that we discuss on this show all the time. You're trying to buy people. Matter of fact, in the words, I should bring up DJ Academic's post. DJ Academic said, "Kamala, you can't buy everything, sweetheart." DJ Academics was on Twitter, on X, talking about, yo, these celebrities got y'all all fooled, brainwashing y'all. They're giving money. Celebrities aren't making as much. A lot of these entertainers aren't making the money that we think that they're making. So therefore, when they get the opportunity to do a show, because that's exactly what it is when Meg Thee Stallion goes up and supports Kamala, that's exactly what it is when Cardi B goes up and supports Kamala, when Usher goes up and supports Kamala, when Beyonce, it's all just a show to them. It's an appearance. It's a gig. They're not necessarily voting for her. DJ Academic said, hey, they gave me a bag of money. I took it and then I went and voted for Trump. Or hope Trump would win. So this is what Democrats do. They try to just dangle stuff. We'll forgive your college loans. We may give y'all some reparations, black people. Or oh, you need some more assistance in this area? Well, all of these things that they're giving out, people are starting to realize this is not necessarily good for me. These are empty calories that are not producing any bit of success for me or my culture. People are seeing that. People are seeing that they're even detrimental. People want to be able to compete. People want to be able to work, and people want to be able to earn things. And it's because our society has become so soft, where now we're starting to see the cycle turn back to us actually wanting to put in hard work and live more in a merit-based society, because we see what the other way of looking at things has brought us. Let's keep going.
Get the entitlements party. They believe the way you get the working class is by buying them through greater government welfare.
Yeah.
So you look at student loan forgiveness, you look at the entitlements for new housing projects, a small business loan forgiveness, all of the things where the Democrats wanted to do to sort of increase spending. And that is patronizing to most working class people who prefer what Trump is offering, which is trying to protect the economy, particularly from the trade deals that they feel have betrayed them over the last 2 decades.
Oh boy. Oh, we're going to hold off on this one. Bernie Sanders called it out. Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.